So, from the time they were built, water incursion had been an issue with the Model Y. So, the early ones, 2021 to 2021, water actually came in through the hatch. And not just because of the design, when you open it up, water came pouring in. Water actually came in through these seals, and here on these reflectors, as you see, water's collecting, and in some of them they used to collect in the taillights. Whereas this one, I actually, for this video, I just actually gave it a quick spray down, and you see there's no incursion at all. And here in the front right, there's none whatsoever. And this is where you used to see it. So these fog lamps, and here you can see I just washed it, and look, no incursion, and there's the water spots from it, none into the headlights. Whereas this, you used to see condensation in them, and yeah, and here, again, you know, they really did the fit and finish. You won't be able to see it. Let's see, they don't fit flush. Not flush. So water used to come into these weather seals. And then here, so this is one of the things I checked when my car first came. This, because I saw someone complaining about it. And one young lady had a Model Y Performance, and this wasn't glued on properly. And if you can see, get close. This one is not. So these are the build issues that people have, whereas they address all of that. You can't even get a plain card in there. You need a razor blade. It's so tight. So well done. It's okay. So definitely build quality better and better as they go on. This is my 2023, and it was built literally 1 year after the one it's next to. And as you can see, the panel gaps now they've corrected that oddness of the lineup. And then look here, the shut lines of the front smooth. There's not an indent on this one. The gap here is the same width as the gap here. Panel gaps are good on this one. So when I first picked it up, I was just literally maniacal about it. But look, you see, so lines are even, equally spaced. Gap is good. And then see, now you have continuity coming from the hatch to this connector to the taillight. So better attention to detail. Better attention to the detail. And again, this one has driven 8,000 miles. I'm going to do the odometer on this one. But as you can see, all those people who are worried about PPF in their car, I mean, if I gave this a good wash, I'm sure it would shimmer, and I may in fact do that, so that you can see the finish. And I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to give this a quick wipe down so you can see how good it looks. But as far as stone chips, here's the bonnet, the nose, the hood, whichever country you're from, whatever you call it, and you'll see all this is just dust particles. No stone chips whatsoever, and this is black. And black shows everything. And the only thing I can find here is a scratch, and that's usually, you know, parking error where you come up too close to something. All right. And now let me show you the difference. So guys, I'm jumping in with a voiceover to show you the mechanics that was going on here. There was a lot of wind noise, but I wanted you to hear the noise that the 22 model made versus mine. Okay, the mechanics of the hatch have been upgraded. So the mechanism smoother. See, so the mechanism smoother, but they have upgraded the mechanics on these cars. So now you have a much smoother mechanism and a much smoother closing mechanism and a much smoother locking mechanism with the 23 than you did the previous iterations. So they've also upgraded the suspension. There were a lot of complaints on the early Model Ys, performance in particular, that the suspension was too stiff and the ride was punishing. Well, the ride is stiff because the car is remarkably agile and nimble at speed. And here is a clip of the Model Y going to the maximum speed in something called the Moose test, which is an obstacle avoidance test where a hypothetical moose is in your lane of travel. You have to avoid it and then come back into your lane of traffic, right? And the Model Y has performed as well, if not better, than a Mercedes AMG GT and a Porsche 911. So that stiff suspension gives you a flat, planted feel. So that's still the same case for 2023, except the ride on smooth, even pavement is quite serene. But once it gets disjointed, it's definitely stiff. Between a 23 and a 22 on the used car market will be approximately $3,000. And for the $3,000, you are getting slightly upgraded hardware and definitely upgraded mechanics. But as far as your software is concerned, that's the beauty of owning a Tesla. Both of these cars, and you can get the newest Model Y that's coming out that was built literally in August and September, and you will find that the software upgrades are the same. So no matter how long you have your Tesla for, the car is constantly being updated the way iOS comes through as an over-the-air update on your phone. And in fact, this one is a little bit more advanced because you don't have to have a full charge, or you don't have to have it plugged in. You literally just, usually you should have a Wi-Fi connection and do it at your house, but literally when it says it's gonna update, you just acknowledge it and boom, that thing does it for about, the longest update I've ever had was about 20 minutes. But other than that, they're quick, straight, and to the point. So your car is always being advanced to the newest technology. So the cameras have been upgraded, their ability and clarity has been enhanced. So all those things are good. Now let's jump inside and see a couple of things with the cameras on this one. And I also want to see if, I showed you before, The lumbar control delete on the passenger side started in 2022. But I was hoping to see if we've got some data here on the center arm, in the armrest at the center console. So we're going to see about that. But that's the difference, because 2020 and 2021, you'll have this lumbar control, you won't have double pane glass, and you will have a data connection for your USB-C port here in the center console, whereas 2023 you definitely don't have it, and 2022, this is a March early build 2022. So I'm going to see if they still had that in there, but this was built during the supply chain issues, and I believe that's why that particular feature was deleted, even though Tesla has said that they weren't finding anybody using the lumbar on the passenger side, and that's why I deleted it. I believe that the lumbar and the data port were removed because of supply chain issues. But other than that, I'm thinking it's good. So now, let's check out the cameras and see what's going on. This is an upgrade across all years. It's the camera preview. And this, fam, allows you now see all of the cameras on the interior. So there's my cameraman back there. And they've sharpened all of this. So you use this camera for Zoom meetings, as well as remote monitoring of your car. If you have it in dog mode and you want to see how the dog is doing while you have the climate control, keeping him nice and comfortable on a hot day, or or nice and warm on a cold day. Let's go through and see. Absolutely, look at that. So the cameras, even on this 2022, they have definitely been upgraded. In the previous iteration of this camera, there was a pink tinge to the door pillar cameras and the fender cameras. And now they've taken that tinge out, and the cameras are much, much sharper. And then you can go, you have all of these views. So let me show you the right fender. So, because I've got this. So it had a slight pink hue to it. You weren't getting true to life color, saturation, and imagery. And here, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it's still slightly less saturated for the reds, because that should be bright, as opposed to looking like an orangey. It should be more of a bright red, but still, they've upgraded the cameras to do that. So all these cars across the range from the time they were built, absolutely upgraded as far as software is concerned. Wait, let's see this now. Let's check this out. Let's go. So this car has traveled 19,000 miles. So twice the mileage of my 2023. But I've shown you that the hardware is held up, and if we can just take a quick look, we didn't get a chance to do a clean and a wipe down of these beautiful white seats, but they hold up quite nicely. And this car is a Tesla demo and loaner car with 20,000 miles. So it's not, hasn't been owned by an individual who would care it like that. This is just given to customers when their cars come in for service, or when somebody wants to schedule a test drive. This is the car that they give them. So, and again, you don't have any yanking on the steering wheel. You don't have anything loose, rattling, nothing like that. This is clearly still holding up well. No major issues whatsoever. And like I said, as each model build progresses, they get better and better, tighter and tighter. So now you have almost bulletproof build quality in the 2023. And the nettlesome issues that you had here with the 2022s, body gaps, not there. Ride, definitely still stiffer in this one. So, but aside from that, I've shown you the differences. These side pockets in the newer ones, mine, that's flock material instead of plastic, giving it a more upscale feel. And these door inserts, even though this is white interior, and that's really what they do with the white interior, they carry that around all throughout. I believe even in the 2023s, I'm going to go look at another one just to confirm that. But on my Model Y Performance, that doesn't have white interior, black interior, that is Alcantara, and it also gives it a nice upscale feel. And like I said, everything else here has been upgraded to show all updates that go out to all Model Ys. The PSI is a little bit low on this car because it should be up to around 41, not 38. So it's going to ride differently than mine. I don't think we're going to need to take it out because I'm comfortable in showing what you're going to see. So like I said, this is going to be $3,000 cheaper than comparable 2023. A 2021 is going to be $3,000 to $4,000 cheaper than that, and a 2020 is where you're going to get your lowest prices, which will be anywhere between 32 and 38,000 on a long range and a performance. However, you must be careful with those. Make sure you don't have multiple owners. Make sure there was no fleet ownership. And if it has over 60,000 miles on it, and it's a 2021 or 22, you're going to have to be mindful to see that if it's not a Hertz rental, because Hertz took ownership of over 100,000 Teslas, Model 3s and Model Ys across the range. So they have long range and performance models. And they rented some of those out as Ubers. And Uber drivers drive those cars. They make more money as a Tesla driver with Uber, and they definitely put miles on those cars. And those cars, according to Hertz's CEO, had high repair bills because they were being used well, he didn't say they were being used so much, but because they were being used more than the average rental car for Uber, definitely, particularly the back hardware. So that's my buying tip for anybody who's looking at it. Make sure that it wasn't a Hertz Uber, or that it was used, somebody bought it and used it as an Uber. And that you will see with a high mileage model. Anything that's over 60, 68, you need to go one step further. Look at that title, look at that Carfax report, and definitely find out if it was any fleet or rental use. But again, these cars are holding up quite well. And if you buy any model that's pre-2021, be mindful of your mileage, because you will have between 80 and 1,000 miles left on your battery warranty. And although we haven't seen an issue with any of the Model Ys having a battery replacement issue, unless it's been, the battery has been compromised in some way, shape, or form, they haven't had any failures there. You have to be careful, because if you have to replace the battery on this car, that's expensive. That may be a deal breaker for you, because that can cost in the thousands, anywhere between $8,000 and $11,000, depending on what they have to do and what year you have. So my advice, after sitting in both and feeling the upgrades and what they've done better, I would say it would be better for you to buy a new one, particularly with the price reductions that they have now. And if you don't have enough money for a down payment for a lease, Tesla's lease program requires a $4,500 down payment. If you don't have that now, I say, you save your shekels, get it together, and get ready to purchase in the beginning of the year. Because in the beginning of the year, your tax credit of $7,500 that is on every single Model Y that Tesla produces, and Model 3s, and the standard range Model X, you're going to get that at the point of sale. So you don't have to wait to file your taxes. Literally, if you buy after January 1st, this car will reflect the $7,500 tax credit when you buy it. So let's just quickly go to the Tesla website, right, and see. Let's go there. Tesla. Okay. So let's go to order now. And then we're gonna go purchase price. So right now, the rear-wheel drive Model Y is $43,900, and the most expensive, the ones we're sitting in now, the performance, are $52,490, and that's with the base color now being gray. Let's go over here. So leasing this car brand new with $4,500 down for 36 months is gonna come in, let's include taxes and everything, bro. Sorry. It's gonna come in at, I don't want gas savings, guys. I just want this. $480, taxes and everything. And that's now. When you do this car in January, that's going to be significantly less. It's going to be closer to $390 because almost $10,000 is going to come off. Because the tax, everything from the tax incentive is going to come off, and depending on what state you buy it in, you're going to get an added point of sale deduction. So here in New York on a Model Y, that's an additional $500. So you're going to get $8,000 off of a brand new one, and that's going to be lower than this $480. So let's say with taxes and everything, my estimate will be between $390, maybe $400. Taxes all in for a Model Y performance. And let's come back out now. Let's close these up. Now, let's go to the rear wheel drive. If that's not necessary, and look at the pricing we're looking at. $299. That's what you're looking at. That is the price of any Kia, any Camry, any RAV4. That's the price of those cars, and you're getting this super efficient, high-performing luxury car. And now, this is the most sold. The most sold is $48,900. So again, guys, if you are looking to buy, newer is better, because the used prices on these cars are in fact in this range. Let me just show that to you real quick. So let's go to IC cars. IC cars. I like IC cars and cars.com because they'll give you, okay, let's see if we can do this. Let's go to search cars. And now let's do a radius of 100 miles. This is a Linux-based system, so it might get a little wonky on us. it did. I'd have to go IC cars, Tesla. Give me a minute. Model Y. All right, so see how the pricing is going? And then this is why I wanted to come to IC cars. So it's giving you the average price per year. So like I was telling you, it's a $3,000 to $4,000 difference by year. And the lowest price you can get on a 2021 is in the 30s. But again, you have to look to see if those are high mileage vehicles, hit vehicles. If you see a Tesla with frame damage, do not take a chance on that car. Even though the build process has changed from when it was first introduced, the battery pack is a part of the frame. And any frame damage that was not fixed by a Tesla specialist can become problematic over the time, may in fact damage your battery, cause degrading, and then you're going to have to replace that. So this is the pricing that you're looking at for used Teslas. And according to cars.com, Tesla Model Ys and Model 3s are the fastest selling used cars to date, month after month after month, despite these prices. So people are still buying the used ones. So I know you guys are going to be looking at the channel, but I don't want to hurt these used car dealers' feelings, but because this is the only used car that's on their lots that's selling. Every other used car is selling ridiculously slowly. And the Model X and the Model S from the same company, Tesla, are the slowest selling used cars on cars.com, according to cars.com. So my recommendation to you, buy it new. If you need to get your dollars together beforehand, you've got, I'm doing this in this video in November, you've got 2 months to get your down payment together. You have no dealers messing with you. You have no one upselling you. There's no upcharge for anything else. You're literally going to get the Tesla price hassle free. And in fact, you can make your order in December because it takes anywhere between 3 to 6 weeks, depending on which model you choose, for you to take delivery on your car. But once you take delivery in January, you're going to get the point of sale federal tax credit of $7,500. So I'm expecting a huge boom, because that's going to reduce the lease price, and a lot of people are going to lease these cars because they're not sure they want to go into the full plunge of buying it, and their upfront cost is only going to be $4,500 to lease. You are going to, you see this is Tesla's demo model. It's a year and a half in, and it's already got 19,000, almost 20,000 miles on it. My warning to you guys in getting this car is, because it's so efficient and cheap to run, you're going to drive it more than your gas car. And a lot of people say, oh, I'm going to reserve my gas car for, if I have this is going to be my second one, I'm going to reserve my gas car for longer trips. You will find that the comfort of this car on long trips, no matter what gas car you have, this is going to exceed that, and it's going to be cheaper to go long distances, and it's not going to add significant time to your trip. I'm going to post a link to this video so you can see how I traveled 490 miles round trip versus a Toyota RAV4, and literally the difference in travel time was 11 minutes going, 15 minutes coming back. That was it. And the cost differential against a highly efficient gas SUV was significant. So, all right, guys, that's it on this car. All right, fam. So, if you like this video, please, you know what button to press. And if you want more information like this, car reviews, user reviews, buyer's guides on anything Tesla, please subscribe right here. All right, guys, until next time.